Alright, hello fun and welcome back to my Fallout 4 Mod Spotlight series, where today we are having a look at the Shotgun Revolver mod, which is yet another wonderful weapon being added into the Commonwealth by Degenerate Dak. And what this thing is looking to add into the game is, well, a very large shotgun revolver for you to play with. And there's, not much more to say about that. It's a revolver that shoots 12 gauge rounds, and that's just a whole lot of fun. And apparently, even though I've never actually played it myself, is an inspired weapon by Metal Gear Solid 5. So if you've played that, you may recognize this in some way, shape, or form. So let's jump on over here and have a look at what exactly we are getting with the Shotgun Revolver, which in its most basic and standard form will do 48 damage with a 12 gauge round with a firing rate of 5, range of 119, accuracy of 13, and a weight of 5.3. Honestly, a surprisingly lightweight considering the chunky size of this thing, but as you can see, it is a pretty ridiculous looking weapon, which I think is why I like it. It's huge and, as mentioned, chunky, and is just strange. I'm always a little bit weirded out, honestly, by revolvers that have the barrel down at the bottom rather than at the top, but there's a fair few out there. We've seen some in the past, even on this series, and it's just kind of neat having a shotgun revolver. That's just weird, and I love it. And thanks to the modifications we do have with this thing, you can upgrade it pretty substantially, which is nice, and even adding in a few more Fallout-ified wacky things than honestly I originally anticipated. We don't always see those sort of wacky Fallout-ified things from Degenerate Dak, but he did add in some fun plasma shotgun shells for this thing, which are, I think, pretty entertaining and very welcome in this lovely weapon mod. Now, as for how you do get your hands on one of these things, well, it is pretty darn simple. Starting in the world at level 13, you will see them on Raider bosses, Brotherhood of Steel, Gunners, and of course on Vendors. So pretty easy to get your hands on those. Now, there are also two unique ones out in the world. One which can be found at yet another new custom dungeon added in, which I like this trend that Degenerate Dak is doing now of adding in these custom dungeons, because it's kind of cool. This one in particular is going to be in the, found inside the capsized factory out over at the Glowing Sea, which is pretty cool, just adding a fun new dungeon into that area. Now, the second unique actually involves another mod. If you have the Commonwealth Weaponry Vendors installed, you will also find a unique version of this gun on a specific vendor, which is pretty neat. Though that's a first for us. Last episode was a first for Degenerate Dak in doing the dungeons, and now we have another first here of requiring another mod to get it onto a vendor. So intriguing ideas there. Nice to see mods evolving and changing. But with all that, let's head on over to our weapon workbench and take a look at what modifications we do have available for this thing. Starting with the receiver category, where we've got the pretty typical stuff going from standard light all the way up to calibrated, powerful, and advanced receivers there, which will help provide some pretty decent damage. This is definitely a solid mid to late game gun, I'd say, especially with some of the other modifications we have available for this thing, plus any additional perks that'll help you get even more out of it. Now, in the barrel category, we've got a pretty small selection here of either the standard, snub nose, or long barrel. In the grip category, we've got the standard, light, comfort, sharpshooter, and pearl grip, if you want to look a bit fancy. And then in the shells category, which is my personal favorite category for this mod, we've got the standard buckshot. We also do have flechette shells for armor piercing, dragon breath shells if you want to light your enemies on fire, magnum buckshot for even more damage, slug shells if you want a single projectile, more accuracy and range, a pulse slug shell if you want that same thing, but also now adding in a bit of plasma energy damage, a rifled slug shell for even more damage and range, and finally the plasma slug shells here, a second one after the pulse, just adding in again even more damage, more energy damage, and is just great. So you can get some pretty decent damage out of this. I mean, the rifled slug alone is pretty darn good, but then you add on this plasma slug shell. Oh, that's great. And that's of course still with this thing having the standard receiver on this thing. Once you get the advanced receiver on there, oh, the damage output is pretty darn good. Now, next to the sight category, pretty typical stuff for guns we've been seeing recently, especially from Degenerate DAC, where we've got the standard glow dot, hollow, reflex, laser, short, medium, short night vision, recon, and thermal scope. All very good, very nice selections there. And with those slug shells, you can get, you know, some good use out of some of those longer range scopes. Now with the muzzle, we've got pretty typical stuff here again, the either nothing compensator, spiked compensator, duckbill choke, muzzle brake, or suppressor if you're wanting to be sneaky with a 12 gauge revolver. And then finally we have the accessory category where we either have nothing, a flashlight, a recon laser, or a VATS targeting module. Again, all good additions, pretty typical for some things we see from Degenerate DAC, and all in all, fun. So let me go grab my two modified versions and let's take a look at how this thing does shoot at our range first, and then against our usual Deathclaw companion friend. So let's just start with the standard chunky 12 gauge shotgun revolver here and take some shots. And there we go. A very, very slow firing gun. In fact, if you take a look at just how long it takes for the sight to reset after one shot there, you gotta wait for a while as it kind of lowers back down if you want an accurate shot. Now, you can just kind of go a little bit crazy and shoot from the hip a bit more quickly, but it's just going to be all over the place with that kick that this thing has, so not exactly the most accurate, but if you're in close range, it certainly will do the trick. But all in all, just a very slow-firing, but powerful little shotgun in your hand. It's great. I love this thing. It's ridiculous and very Fallout, and I very much do enjoy it. So let's take a look at our modified versions here. First, the converted compensated one, where I am doing some of the, this is the Dragon's Breath one, so we can set things on fire here. So yeah, we'll take a look at that one first. And oh, look at all of that flame. Oh, it's magnificent. And with, of course, the modifications that I did put onto that particular gun, it is doing 84 physical, 3 energy, and, of course, well, lighting an enemy on fire, which is just great, especially against tougher enemies, to get a bit more damage over time, which is just, well, good. And there we go. Now, finally, of course, I've got my suppressed converted shotgun revolver here, doing 96 physical, 30 energy with that plasma slug shell here, so pretty good damage out of this particular weapon. And what makes it, of course, even better is if you do have different perks, you should be able to get that higher. As usual, this character has none of those combat-specific perks. So let's take a look at this one. And there we go. Not as much fun without the loud thud, considering this is a suppressed weapon. But, you know, with the plasma slug there, it is pretty cool seeing sort of a tracer almost going down the downrange, which just entertaining. And, of course, providing a lot of damage. So let us pull out our usual Deathclaw friend here and see how this weapon works against them. Try it with the plasma first. You know, it'd be a lot better if I could get an underbelly shot there, but oh well, all 4 shots did hit, and we got him down to about 1/3 of his health. Let's switch over to our Dragon's Breath version. Might have to wait for him to get a little bit closer. Oh god, there we go. And lovely. That fire doing a bit more damage over time, which is great. Definitely doesn't last for long. He's already put the fire out, but still did some decent damage there. Not as much as I was hoping, but I did not get as good of shots as I was Well, wanting to, but that shouldn't be surprising with me and my usual shooting ability. Alright, well, back to the plasma one. Doing, again, the most amount of single shot damage. I think I missed him on both of those. Of course, of course. Alright, that was actually a pretty good shot on that last one. There we go. Oh, that's a miss. Got him. Let's see if we can get him with the last shot. Oh. Missed. Oh, of course. Well, I mean, if we're going to finish him off with anything, it should be fire. So, come at me, Deathclaw. And there we go. Beautiful. And that is our Dragon's Breath rounds going into there, and this is just a fun weapon. If you are in some tight quarters urban combat situations, definitely going to be fun to just pull out and hit fire this thing into a room. And if you are needing a bit more range support, thankfully with things like the solid slugs and the plasma slugs, you do have those sorts of options. And thanks to things like the fun new dungeon to find a cool, unique version of the weapon, and of course, just, you know, the guns being cool in general, I think it's definitely a very fun addition into the world, and certainly fits the sort of aesthetic of this universe, because it's a bit weird, it's a bit strange, and just looks wonderful. So if you'd like to take a look at this mod for yourself, which I'd certainly recommend you go and do, you can have a look at the link in the description as per usual. But that one is going to be it for this today. Hopefully you all have enjoyed, and you do come back for whatever mod we look at next. But until that time, thank you for watching as always. Well, have a good one.